Hey guys, this is Eckhartsladder. Hello and welcome to another video over here on EcksToo, and big surprise today, we are covering another Star Wars fan project. One of my favorite things about working on this channel and expanding it recently has been the sheer amount of phenomenal fan content that I've discovered, and today's video is no exception. In 2017, I went to a pre-launch event for Star Wars Battlefront 2. At that event, I met a young Cinematic Captures. For those who don't know, Cinematic Captures is a really phenomenal member of the Star Wars community. He got his start largely with really high quality photography within Star Wars video games, especially the Battlefront series, but since then has been continually expanding the scope of his content and is now bringing us really high quality fan animations. What's really impressive about Cinematic Captures' work is how he integrates really new and exciting technology. We'll see and discuss that in today's video, which will be examining his upcoming Star Wars Republic Commando project. So on August 31st, Captures posted a teaser of the upcoming project, and wow, there is a lot to go through here. In today's video, we'll take a closer look at the teaser and also go through my discussions with the man himself, where he answered some questions that I had been wondering. The key aspect of Cinematic Captures' recent projects is the degree to which he integrates traditional forms of computer-based animation with emerging technology, and that's most visible in this project, which uses Unreal Engine and a variety of really impressive techniques to make something that looks very lifelike. The start of the teaser actually shows a bunch of the rigs and setups he's got, which help in creating the project. These are all really cool, and I'll talk about them a little bit more later. But as we see in even just this preview, they all come together to make something animated look like it was traditionally filmed, which is my real takeaway in a lot of his recently uploaded content. Everything from iPhones to gimbals to Oculus Rift systems all comes together in a way that I can just barely wrap my head around. So at 55 seconds, we get a really good example of what we can expect. We can see that when Cinematic Captures moves his camera in real life, it translates to camera movements within the Unreal Engine itself. Now, this is important because it adds that sort of human factor that is very difficult, if not impossible, to replicate when you're just animating something and working within software. Again, we'll come back to this. Captures gave me a lot more detail, but if we continue to watch the preview, we can see that there is, in fact, an entire team behind this project. We've got storyboarding, modelers, and artists, and just a lot of people coming together to make something which will hopefully be really cool. Before we return to technology and filmmaking, let's talk a little bit about what this short will entail. First of all, Cinematic Captures told me that Republic Commandos are certainly a fan favorite, but also something that's hardly been seen in Star Wars canon. So he wanted to take some of what existed in the EU and try expanding that to canon in a sense. Of course, his short won't literally be canon, but it should fit logically within the pre-existing framework, so if you want it to be your own headcanon, it should be completely possible. He states, and this is something that I noticed immediately, that one of the main things they're trying to emulate is tone, but that there will be some modernization as well, and that the main look he's going for is essentially Star Wars Commandos plus Cyberpunk, and I think we see a bit of that with the environmental art previewed in the video. I don't know much more about plot or who the Republic Commandos will be fighting or anything like that, and to be honest, I don't want to know because I actually want to see this for the first time as a fan, not just somebody covering it. Regarding runtime, the current storyboard runs to about 6 minutes, and he expects the final video to be about 5 to 10 minutes once it's done editing and whatever else, with differences in length coming down to things like pacing. And this is a really impressive extension over Cinematic Captures' recent work, which have all been under 2 minutes long. Those past projects are still important though because they've been building up to this. Many partially existed as an avenue to test things that will be brought fully into this video. So we should see the Republic Commando short bring a lot of previously tested material with a larger team at this point. Cinematic Captures states that he's got people involved with modeling, texturing custom characters, making set pieces, effects, mocap performances, cleanup, animation, writing, sound design, and more, although he still does prefer to do as much as he can himself. And I know what you're thinking, What do you mean mocap? Well, yeah, Cinematic Captures is actually creating this through the use of serious animation techniques like mocap. When I asked him about the technology involved, he stated that he's using a Rococo Smart Suit Pro motion capture suit to actually capture real actors' movements, which will then be cleaned up and applied to virtual characters. We've also talked earlier about the VR system, which essentially emulates the movements of his physical camera in real time within the virtual space. And again, this all comes down to being able to not only move freely, but to make realistic camera movements that you couldn't otherwise replicate. So yeah, to summarize, there is a lot to be excited here. I definitely recommend that you follow Cinematic Captures. I've linked to his Twitter and his YouTube down in the description, and he'll be putting out more of these behind the scenes preview videos. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check out his YouTube channel as mentioned and turn those notifications on. These projects are also very expensive to create, so if you want to help him continue to make content like this, Cinematic Captures also has a full Patreon page, but uniquely, he's also created a Skillshare which goes into the basics of virtual filmmaking. So if this is something that interests you, especially all of the unique aspects to this animation, you can check that out, and as with everything else, included down in the description. So yeah, I'm really excited for this project. You guys know that I'm not a huge Republic Commando fan, but I do love the style and aesthetic of the game. I love Republic Commandos generally within the lore. It's just, you know, the gameplay of Republic Commando is not my cup of tea at all. Still, when it comes to my hype for individual projects, this is right up there with Howie Days or whatever E.C. Henry is currently working on, and I really don't think we'll see anything else like this in the next little while from a fan. Interestingly, shows like The Mandalorian are also pioneering the use of new virtual technology. From Jar Jar Binks to the miniatures of the original trilogy, Star Wars has always revolutionized filmmaking. So it's great to see The Mandalorian continue that with things like The Volume, and for Star Wars fans to also continue to push the limits of what we think is possible for a fan project. Anyway guys, I think that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again to Cinematic Captures. Not only did he respond to all of my questions, but he did so very quickly. Also, he gave me his drink ticket at the Battlefront pre-release event in 2017, but that's beside the point. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We are nearing 10,000, and as always, may the Force be with you.